Oh, it's been said a bard's life can often be a hard life, or hill and jail to rove and always move from town to town. And some folk have inquired if ever we grow tired of ranging all around the world and never settling down.
But one should be a little wary of remaining stationary, 'cause comfortable is lovely, but it's not the way we grow. When life starts to unravel, pick up your pack and travel. You'll find a strange serenity in places you don't know. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-rat-terry-o-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. You've got no map for showing which direction you are going.
But why start on a journey if you know where it will end?
And once you recognize,
To anticipate surprise, you'll relish every twist and turn that lies around the bend. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road.
the world has got its demons. There are many reasons why you'd find it harder to be brave than be afraid.
But every life could use some danger. Every friend was once a stranger. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not why ships are made.
Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-da-terry-o-dee, dee-dee, a fwit-dee-dee-dee-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Adventures waiting further down the road.
Let's go!
Hi, baby.
Hi.
And hi, everyone on the internet. This might be we have a lot of thunderstorms here, and I've already just gotten cut off once. So if you are in the stream, let me know that you can see us and hear us. And otherwise, here we are. Otherwise, just going to be chatting with my sweet baby right here.
That's me.
So, hi, honey.
Hi.
So
tell the people where you are.
I am Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm high atop my underground lair at my friend's house. And they have a wonderful, awesome basement complete with hand axes. Ooh. All right. So there we go. And, oh, great. All right. Well, hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Bam, 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 bam. All right. I see all the people's. Yay.
Oh, are
fantastic.
Twitch or something? I want to see the people.
There we go.
Are they on the Twitch? I should go.
They are on the Twitch. Yes.
Hi. I'll get on there too so I can see them.
All right. Oh, can you not see the chat?
No. No. Oh, wait, now I can. Now I see the people.
All
Why,
right.
hello.
Well, hello, everybody. All right. Well, I just left this lovely person's house, and Christina. That's right.
And Cluckin' Awesome,
Yes.
which in my brain I think of as Awesome Chicken, and then I have to translate that their
Awesome Chicken.
Twitch name isn't actually Awesome Chicken.
So yeah, well, I just left their place, and we had some severe lightning and thunder. So we'll just see what happens. So yeah. Well, hi everybody. Yeah, so what we're gonna do today, we have a nice little chat show tonight because we're gonna be talking about all the crazy plans that we made for the Muncaster Dungeons and Dragons Tour 2024 in England. I have some little spots in my writings that I, could use some help with from the audience. I have a couple of NPCs that I need to round out their personalities, and I always love to get a little help from the audience as well. So anybody who's willing to help when we get to that point, you let me know if you got some good ideas. I'll kind of set it. I don't want to spoil too much of the adventure if there's any people who are watching the show right now who might actually be on the tour. But I do want to, there'll be no spoilers. Don't worry. It'll be fine. So we just have some NPCs that, could use some extra flavor, extra background. I want to point out that this really, because we did this last year, I did a couple of episodes of Decide Your Endangerment, and I did that with several NPCs that were in the game for last year, and some things actually at my table, they came to fruition. We had a necromancer in the game who was basically just there they were just selling goods and trading goods, and so the party had some interactions with them, and then they thought that gosh, what did he do? They thought he was possibly responsible for some of the bad stuff. And so they kind of were trying to find out some information on him. But the thing is that we had played our epic NPC game of Decide Your Endangerment, and it turns out that he had a fear, even though he's a necromancer, he had a fear of he was afraid of skeletons inside of you.
Right.
And one of the characters was playing a skeleton. And oh, no, wait. And then there was a thing about he was scared of gnomes. And so there was but just the skeletons of gnomes. And so it worked perfectly with his background, that the party was actually able to get the information they needed, because here was this skeleton and then this gnome, and then it was it just all worked out. It was beautiful. And if we didn't have that little background moment on our game, it wouldn't have happened. So so yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Who else did we have? We had Kyle the Kobold, and he turned out to be very, very handy in, I think, everybody's game. Everybody's table had Kyle the Kobold. I think one table might have axed him, actually, but the other two tables actually used him to their greatest advantage. Kyle survived. He was great. My table did, yes, and then put him in a trench coat with two other kobolds. So big surprise. We did indeed use our mini that we had, which was 3 kobolds in a trench coat. So yeah, it's so funny to have a little show where we're not actually I'm not running a game. I was like, oh man, we're just gonna chat.
And you're trying to talk about games without ruining games.
So yeah, and well, hello. I see all the lovely people here in the chat, and yeah, it was great. The game was hilarious, and I just want to point out, for those of you who don't know, who haven't heard the story already, it's been 10 months, right? So we did our last D&D tour we did our last England D&D tour in July of last year, and there was the moment. All of my work had come to fruition, where it was the boss fight, and they were fighting a vampire. The vampire, the fight was so well balanced. It was like perfectly balanced. It was great. Awesome fight. Back and forth. Things going crazy. Vampires flying around. Spider webs, owlbears, demons, everybody. They were all there. Everything was going back and forth. But it was like a really great balanced fight. Perfect moment. The vampire's like, I am sick of all your shit. Turns to the biggest, baddest fighter in the party. Says, I'm charming you. Please go fight your friends. And of course, as a fighter, dumps stat wisdom, fails the saving throw against charm. Giant minotaur fighter cracks his knuckles. If he has, yeah, they have knuckles. They just have hooves for feet. And goes, yeah, turns to his buddy, his former friend, and says, I guess I'm tearing you in half now. And I grab him. And I said, well, roll for grappling. They roll a natural 20 on the grapple. And I was like, oh, because, you know, I mean, as the dungeon master, you want to make an exciting game, right? You don't want to, you're not actually out to kill everyone. You want to make it exciting. And it's an adventure means almost everyone died, but somebody has to live, you know, otherwise it's just TPK, right? So, right, Quad Kevin. And so the other fighter in the party, because like they were right about to lose their two top fighters, and then the party would have just gotten smushed. Opposing grappling roll was using one of my dice and rolled that sweet nat 21. And I was like, oh, look at that. Well, it's like, you know, as the dungeon master of this table, and as the creator of this die, as the arbitrator of all of the referee of this combat, I'm going to say that natural 21 does in fact beat the natural 20. Just one better, isn't it? And I like literally, that's one of my selling points. It's like, it's the only way to beat a natural 20 is with a natural 21. It's the only way. So
it was confirmation bias.
You've confirmed the confirmation bias. And yeah, absolutely. So manages to pull out of the grapple as the Minotaur is trying to just grab him and tear him in half. Slips out, flips around. They manage to clunk the Minotaur. Boom. Gets out of the charm, turns around. The battle then comes back around, and they indeed defeated the vampire. And it was just a beautiful moment in space-time, and it was great. It was great. So
it was as if your entire life since selling dice was leading to that moment.
It's literally everything I've been saying about these dice. It's the only way to beat a natural 20. This is a natural 21. Only way. Yes. And yeah. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Yes. Proving the Nat 21 does in fact beat Nat 20. Do. What else we got? Let's see. Ansa, love the hair. Definitely changed since the last saw you. Yes, she's
I washed it.
Probably gotten a little longer. Maybe.
I have a big festival coming up for me next week, so I've been working on I should touch up my roots. I should, you know, literally the table in front of me is covered entirely with sequins and jewelry and snakes and all kinds of stuff in preparation for events to come, including my shoes, which now have snakes on them.
Oh, that's awesome.
These are, for anyone who doesn't know, I had a little foot surgery a couple of months ago, and it's coming along, you know, it's fine. I'm grateful we live in a time and a place where that's a thing, but these are Birkenstocks. And so I need to make my Birkenstock practical shoes Medusa appropriate. And that is for a stage thing. And so that is why I now have Snakes covered in nail polish, in Paulo's nail polish on my shoes.
Nice.
So crafting. Yes, that's right, Sally. It is Abs Fest. That is the Asheville Burlesque and Sideshow Festival, which is now going into our 15th year. That plus all the years of COVID. So, I mean, I can't even tell you, with like, we were just young things when I started this. And amusing to a little bit of Nat 21 lore, when I first started it, I thought, a burlesque and sideshow festival. I have this really fancy venue. I have all these talented artists, but I'm going to need a really good MC. Who do I know? And I hired Mab Just Mab. And I was super anxious because I was certainly in over my head. You know, it was like, it was a new adventure and I was learning. And then as soon as Mab came out on stage and the crowd went wild, and I was like, oh, this is going to be fine. And that was how I knew it was Mab's magic that made everything work. And then another year, I was like, I should hire another MC that I know that I really like. And that year I hired, at this time, not my husband, Paulo Garbanzo came to MC the show, and that also was really great and magical.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you already got the Zalani already got the Abs Fest coffee. So there's a sometimes sponsor of Nat 21 and oftentimes sponsor of the Burlesque and Sideshow Festival, which is Turtle Creek Coffee. In fact, if you'd like to see a very funny video of Mab Just Mab, our own Kazu and Loon and so many other things, made a theme song for them that you can find on YouTube of Turtle Creek Coffee with Mab Just Mab. That will entertain you. Exactly. Turtle Creek Coffee Crack. She's very charming. So that's what I'm up to. And I will see, while I am currently in Virginia and Paulo is currently in Tennessee, we will be briefly united at the festival along with Mab Just Mab and a number of our other artsy friends and fam.
Mm-hmm. I have zero qualms about shamelessly promoting Turtle Creek Coffee, as not only have they, once they found out about Abs Fest, they have been a fantastic supporter of Abs Fest, and I dare say, what is that word? Not just supporter.
Like, I mean, they're really like sponsors. They're
sponsors. Yes, that's the word. That's the word we're thinking of. Sponsor.
And
they've certainly sponsored Turtle Creek, and not only that, but during the COVID times, they actually just sponsored us.
Yeah,
this me and this
right.
lady and me. They just
they continued to they continue to basically to send sponsor money our way as if the festival was happening, knowing that if they ever wanted the festival to exist again, artists like us who are full-time artists when COVID happened, that we would need a way to get through. So anyway, hail to the king and queen on that regard. So Turtle Creek, I can't tell you how many times I'm going to be seing the turtle logo in the next week. In fact, everything I'm wearing is green for that entire week. My first.
Oh, so yeah. Love those guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well. Yes. So let's see. So right after Abs Fest, which insanely I will be performing at. We tried real hard to make this year less crazy than usual and failed miserably.
It's so much crazier than
it is, even crazier than it ever should be.
Oh, German Disaster is going to be at Abs Fest too. For those of you that have that were here when we did the Halloween special a number of years ago, and German Disaster came on live and performed as part of the adventure. They will be performing that same song that they performed in Thekla's Botanical Garden. They'll be performing that on Friday night at the Burlesque Festival. Yes, you do, Quad Kevin. They are really great.
They're awesome.
Yeah,
they're going to be in Tennessee. They're going to be in Nashville. And I just saw a poster for them, so I think I put it on Facebook actually. So
I think I saw it there on Thursday. So they'll be performing there in a train car. No, they're currently they just got back from a tour in Germany, their very first international tour, and they're just they're like literally like patting their cats and kissing their loved ones and packing to hit the road again. So relatable right now.
So relatable. So relatable. So yeah, we're all converging in Abs Fest. And then let's see what happens. Then we do Thursday night Abs Fest, Friday night Abs Fest. So we'll be performing, and then Friday night, me and Timon, who's a fantastic performer. He's a lot of fun and a crazy wacky guy. Look him up. He's going to be performing at AsFest as well because I poked him into it.
Right. I'm
So,
so grateful. So he and then also your familiar multi-eyed Metatron also is going to be popping over to do some support that day, even though it's a very long commute from home, which is here. So the Metatron is going to pop on down as well and arrive in Asheville. They're going to perform. Timon's performing Thursday. Carmel's filming the whole time. Paulo is performing Friday night with Charming Disaster, and then they are driving from Asheville to Nashville so that Timon and Paulo can get to work at the Ren Fair 5 hours away. The next day. So that's just the beginning. Then I've got several more days of shows because, of course, we have our biggest show, which is the one I'm making all this Medusa stuff for Saturday night. And then hilariously, Carmel's pulling up in the driveway right now. So you'll see her in a minute.
Nice.
Then we've got a show on Sunday. And then Paulo's got a show on Monday too, right? You're doing the fair Monday as well. And then
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Right. So you've got a 3-day weekend after doing my show. And then we're going to meet back at our house, pack, and leave for the D&D tour like 3 days later.
Yes. Nash to Ash, and then Ash to Nash. Literally that Friday night, we are going to perform. We are going to get in the car. We are going to drive, and we're going to keep each other awake.
Right.
And then do 3 days of festival, 3 days of the Ren Fair.
Come and wave to the 21 people.
Yep. So yeah, and hey, if you're in the Nashville area and you are watching the show, there's Carmel.
There she is.
Just want to let you know the Tennessee Renaissance Festival.
I'm going to go do a quick costume change.
Okay. Oh, awesome. All right. I'll see you in a sec. All right. So yes, that festival, we've had record numbers on the good weather days. So if the weather's good, expect a lot of people. And because of that, and I don't know, but it might be it normally when there's a ton of people at the fair, I think there's only like one cell phone tower anywhere nearby. So when you got 9,000 people trying to use the same cell phone tower, it is slow. And so when you're trying to use a credit card machine, it doesn't usually work. So people, friends, help out your friends and neighbors. Just if you can, bring cash because the lines are really long. If everybody's trying to use the credit card machine and it just sits there and goes, it doesn't really work. So yes, do yourself a favor, do everybody else a favor, and bring some cash so that if you're in that drink line, you can just cash to Nash to Ash, yes, and all words that end with Ash. Yes, so yeah, do yourself a favor. It will really help out everybody in those lines, not just me. I'm not just saying that because I like tips, but oh my gosh, and we've been having record numbers. The Williamson County, who now owns the festival, has been a bang up job of advertising, and so they have just been kicking butt. And I believe, I think if the weather is good, we're just going to have record numbers until the very end. So there you go, helpful PSA there. Right then, as if my life wasn't crazy enough, what am I doing? Okay. So Monday finishes Tennessee Fair. I then probably straight from the fair. I'm probably going to drive home from there, like Monday night. I won't go all the way. I just need to get like a few hours down the road because it's about 10-hour drive total. So if I can get at least like, I don't know, if I can get like 4 hours maybe. So like I'll probably get out of the fair once I pack everything up. I'll probably get out of the fair at about 7. So 8, 9, 10, 11. If I can get like 4 hours down the road, that'd be good. And then that means that on Tuesday, I only have six more hours to go. So Tuesday, get home, change everything out, breathe. Wednesday, a full 24 hours at my own house. Thursday, fly to England. Friday, land in England because it's an overnight flight. Friday, land in England. Perform at the Medieval Muncaster event, and on Saturday, perform on Sunday, and then start the D&D tour Sunday night. Fortunately, at Muncaster Castle, so it's all going to be right there at the same castle. So I won't have to go anywhere. I'll just be there. So we have an awesome. Oh my gosh, I can't say enough about Muncaster and Ewan and everybody who is running Muncaster Castle. They are awesome. Love them to death. They are wonderful people. And so it's going to be really cool. We not only are going to have access to rooms in the castle that they do not open for tourists, okay, but we also will be there like all night. So like all the they close at 4:00, the tourists. Then they're going to open up. They have this there's a couple different dining rooms in the castle. So there's like the side dining room, which is big, and we're going to use that for our like tavern. It's very taverny. And then we exit out there. We go out the door, through another door, up the spiral staircase to the secret private room, which is going to be awesome, and actually has like a little kitchenette, so that we'll have some treats and things like that all the time. And then play all night long. And it's going to be awesome. And now we also have a couple of events planned. They have a whole weapons arena area that they just built. It used to be the Medieval Maze. Now it is the Weapons Hall. And you get to throw axes and knives and all sorts of cool stuff. So we're going to do that. They also have some archery. They also have a whole entire owl sanctuary. So we are going to do some falconry. They have vultures, they have falcons, they have an eagle, they have all sorts of cool stuff, and a ton of owls. They're adorable. Oh my gosh, if you've ever seen a baby owl, you should. So yes, pre-pack as much as I can. Absolutely, I plan to do that. Don't clash in Nash. Bring cash. You're killing me. 24 hours of packing. Yeah, I mean, pretty much just everything's packed all the time. So that's my secret. I just don't unpack. That's the thing. Oh, nice. We're saving like mad to do 2025. 20th anniversary. Oh my gosh. Oh, that would be so awesome. It would be great to see you there. Oh my gosh. Let me ask you this, because we did change it to June so that we could kind of finish up. I'm curious, and you can ask me this. You can tell me this later. You can put in the comments. It'll be fine. This is a non-scientific survey. So usually the past 2 years we've done it in July, just because that was kind of easier for my schedule. But this year we're doing it in June because it's just better for Muncaster, because they're doing the medieval festival, finishing it up that weekend, and then we would start the D&D event. And then that way people can show up as early as they want, and then they can be at the festival, get in the mood at the medieval festival, staying at the castle, and then we do the D&D tour from there. Otherwise, it would just be, we just go to the castle when we go to the castle. Not that they won't still put out the archery range and all the other things for us, but there won't be a medieval festival happening at the same time. So, but the question is there a date? Is there a time of the year that works better? June, July, June 18? See, yeah, okay. June's ideal, right? Yeah, I know, right? So like, yeah, there's the eternal dilemma. Like for me, it would be way easier to do it in July just because I have a little bit of time in June then to like be at home, make sure everything's right, and then go. Um, making sure to pack properly is also key because the first D&D tour we did, they lost my luggage, and if I had not packed all of the D&D stuff that I needed for the specially written campaign adventure and all the specially printed maps that we made and all the minis and all the things, and I put them in my carry-on, which I took with me, they lost all my luggage. So all the juggling props, because I was supposed to, was going to do a little juggly show for everybody and all the other things and all my costumes and just about everything. Yeah, I didn't see that until the very end of the entire tour. So good times. So making sure you're packed properly is key to this Dungeons and Dragons event. So yeah. Let me see, mid to later June, July. Yeah. See, early June is kid's birthday. It's also, there's a lot of people in school. So I'm wondering, we'll just have to get Muncaster to change their maybe they could have a fantasy festival. So they have a medieval festival. Maybe we can get them to just do like, hey, it's July, do a fantasy festival. I don't know. We'll just have to tell them that's Americans are better off in July. I don't know. Anyway, so flip a coin. Yeah, stay for a few days before, after, and yeah. So I'm just looking at that. Yeah. Yeah. Now, of course, if I had my druthers, I would just do it for 2 months straight. Just hang out in England and just run D&D games. You just tell me when you're gonna show up, and I'll just be there hanging out at the castle. I'll be fine. But don't take my word for it. Let's see. What I was gonna do was I was gonna try to find some pics of some of the things. So, of course, obviously, Muncaster Castle has plenty of acres of gardens, and we're gonna do some cool stuff. They have like these little. There's like a little gazebo, a really amazing and like one of a kind, unique little gazebo out there in their middle of the gardens. So we're gonna have Madame Ansa dressed up as Thekla, doing a tarot reading out there in the middle of the night as the players come out, and they're gonna like, what, dun dun dun. There's candles and all sorts of stuff, cool stuff. There's also a really cool chapel and a graveyard that dates all the way back. Some of the oldest ones that we saw, some of the oldest tombstones that we saw were from the 1500s, perhaps even earlier than that, maybe even a little bit of like 1450s. So yeah, is crazy. It's really cool. It's really awesome. And we were out there in the middle of the night, and a black cat literally, as I'm leading this group of people to the chapel and then into the graveyard in the back behind the chapel, the full moon, stroke of midnight. Like I couldn't have planned it. Like I couldn't have. I mean, I guess maybe I could have planned it. All right, I know the right people. Cat wrangler, paid them the right money, and black cat hops up on one of the tombstones and just like, oh, hello, are you in my graveyard? I was like, oh crap, it's the Meowfia. And it was great. It was beautiful. So all sorts of magic stuff happens like that. Who even knows? Midnight in the graveyard. Yay, what could go wrong? So yeah, nothing. It was great. So we're gonna do a lot of things. We have little field trips planned. One of them being we're gonna go on a little miniature steam train. Now, in my world, the dwarves have steam power, so it's not a miniature steam train. It's a dwarf-sized steam train, and we're gonna go and see a 15th century mill that is still fully operational, and it's gorgeous. I do have some videos of it. You'll have to see it later. I have them somewhere. I'll have to pull them up. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful, and so they're gonna go visit the mill, and then come on back, have lunch at the Ratty Arms, which, by the way, can't make that name up. That's a real place, the Ratty Arms. And then they're going to play Dungeons and Dragons all night long. And guess what? There'll be a mill. There'll be a steam train. There'll be dwarves. That's not even a spoiler alert. That's just what's happening. But, go through all that trouble to have a steam train. Gotta have a fight on the train. I mean, you gotta. Them's the rules, right? Like, why wouldn't I set up a fight on a train if, chugging along 40 miles an hour over a little tiny bridge? Gotta knock somebody off. I mean, right? Tell me I'm wrong, right? Am I wrong? No, clearly not. Anyway, so that's gonna happen. Yeah. No other reason for trains to exist but to fight. Exactly. Train fight, train fight, train fight, trains fight. Exactly. HO scale is halfling optimized. That's right. All right. Oh, Kyle from the train. Aw. Right on. So let's see. Oh, sorry. So all right. So they're gonna do that. They're gonna do this. I have another place that we have in mind that they're gonna go. They are also gonna see the ruins of a Roman bathhouse. Now, the ruins, I have to say, there's not much left of them. I mean, they really are ruins. But it's clearly Roman brick. If you're into that sort of thing, like I am, you can quickly identify, hey, that's Roman brick. There's some arches, but it's out there in the middle of nothing. It's like, why is there a bath here? But there's got to be some reason. Like, do they have a lot of trees? They could make some hot water. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, 2,000 years ago, who knows what they're doing? Boot. So there's a town. It's called Boodle. Bootle. Boodle. I'm gonna spell it for you right here. And they actually, there is a little bit of history between Muncaster and Boodle. It's across the river Esk. It's across the river, and they have a bit of a rivalry. And this is an ancient rivalry and a very real rivalry. And it's hilarious. There was a guy who was a bit of a smuggler, tyrant, maybe a little of both, a little bit of everything. And true story. So there's Muncaster, there's on the coast Ravenglass, and then underneath Boodles, right? So they're fairly close together, a couple miles away from each other. And Ravenglass has little Boodles, the Tabaxi Rogue. That's right, Accio Dragons. So this guy who was in Ravenglass. So Ravenglass is a seaside town. They had a port. They did all sorts of stuff. I think they mostly just transported like stones, things like that, because there's a lot of slate up there. Anyway, Boodles also had a little port, little seaside village. They had a break wall that they had put all these rocks out there. Well, apparently our man was known for hoisting those rocks and throwing them in his boat and using them as ballast. Every time he showed up, he'd be like, oh yeah, I need some ballast. I'm just going to steal the rocks off your break wall. And the town of Boodles was like, dude, those aren't for you. We put them there on purpose. And he's like, yeah, you gonna stop me? And they tried to stop him. And then he ran back over to Ravenglass and cried victim and said, help being oppressed by the Boodles overlords. And so he literally convinced this, and Ravenglass is a tiny village. It is a tiny village. It was a tiny village back then, is a tiny village now. And somehow convinced like 24 people to get on the boat, men and women, and go attack the town of Boodles. And according to the written documents of history, which I guess that's what they're called, according to the historical documents, there were deaths. The people died. The townspeople went after each other like tooth and nail because this guy managed to convince them that he was the good guy. And they're like, they're stealing our rocks. Like, these aren't. Yeah. So I've wrapped that into our game where they're gonna do a little heist in Boodles. All part of the deal. So Friends of Muncaster messes with people in Boodles because why not? And history is written by the victor. That's right. Everybody got stabbed, so there was no real victors there. I don't know. So yeah, Quad Kevin, maybe, but history is written. The Muncastrians. Okay, so here's a funny bit. Last year I was chatting with Ewan. He was telling me the story about Boodles, and I was like, Boodles, but what are people from Boodles called? And I keep adding the S. Okay, so here's the thing. There's a street in the town of Boodle, and it's Boodles. So I keep saying Boodles, and no, yeah, someone got jammed. That is for sure. Yes. I say Boodles because it's cuter. Because Bootle sounds like he's Scottish. Bootle. So I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but they pronounced it Boodles. Anyway, I said, how do you pronounce? What do you call people from Boodles? Bootonians? Bootites? Bootalites? Boodleonian? If you have any suggestions, let us know. We'll do a survey. Boots, just boots. How many boots you got? I got all the boots. And then, what do you call people from Muncaster? Muncastrians? Muncastonians? Bootlandians? I like Bootlandians. I'm from the land of Boot. Muncasties. Pronounced Boot. Buote? Is it French? I don't know. The Muncasts. Casties. I guess, you know what? Because so caster is like a derivation of castle. And it's like, yeah, so like that's why it's, it's like that castle. Hey, there's my baby.
Ah.
We're just talking about the Bootonians and the Muncastrites.
Ah, I guess, did you already tell them about the famous battle?
Yes, people got stabbed with pitchforks, and like, this is what happens when you take a bunch of like 0-level fighters into a fight. It's like 4 people get stabbed, and like, but more insults were hurled than actual like stones. Apparently men and women were like on the boat, like yelling, hurling insults. But it's like, I don't know how many of you have actually been in like a kind of quasi street fight, but I mean, that is kind of how it goes. It's like, it's a lot of yelling and a lot of like posturing, and then one person actually starts swinging, and then yeah, actual age fight I've ever seen in my life,
right?
For real.
And the thing is, like, now granted, the battle of the Bootonians or whatever, like, if you're throwing rocks are cheap. If you've got real weapons, those of course historically are very expensive. Less so now probably than at any point since flint napping, but weapons are expensive, rocks are cheap, insults are even cheaper, and you have an unlimited supply.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. So is this where we do a little show off here of this
Oh yeah. Well, here's if you would like. So here's what's happening. I wish I had my hat. If I don't know if can you show him a picture of that hat if while I talk? Can you figure that out?
Oh,
So here's
because you sent me a picture of it, yeah.
I did. And I don't
Right.
have it because it's back with the milliner, as it were. So festival is 4 days long, or 4 days of shows. And the if you happen to have seen any of the branding for the festival in any of your social media stuff, it is a Medusa. The Medusa, of course, is a lot of things. Not only is she a cool mythical monster, she's been reclaimed by sort of the Me Too movement and women's power, because the reason she was cursed is because she was assaulted and all that kind of stuff, and so she's been sort of taken and reclaimed as a symbol of women fighting back. And this, the whole thing people come to. Can you see it? Oh, there's the hat. So that's my Medusa hat. I asked a milliner to make me a hat that is Medusa, but like if Medusa had a beehive. Yeah, there you go. And that fringe that's hanging down on either side, it's actually hand beaded vintage Egyptian fringe. So
apologies for the quality of the photo there. Sorry, just using my phone. It's the fastest way I could find it.
That's
but
probably
that is super awesome.
Yeah, it really is incredible. And it's incredibly light. So, which I'm grateful for, because I don't know if you've ever emceed a 4-hour long show in heels, but it's kind of hot. And I have worn all kinds of things on my head over the years, including one of those big Samba Girl fans, which look amazing. And they're designed to be as ergonomic as possible. But the fatigue, it gives me empathy for men wearing, or fighters rather, wearing helmets of any kind because just wearing the weight of one of those Samba headdresses on your head for 4 or 6 hours is very intense. Right. And so wearing a hat this tall, and I asked it to be beehive like, rather than stretching backwards in order to protect my neck. It's feather light. It's really fantastic. And the milliner had an amazing time. Like, they came to bring it by and test it on my head, and then they hung around for half an hour looking at it going, man, that looks great. Allow me to tell you another cool little thing about it. Like, it was clear that the person who built it was even super jazzed about it. So Medusa, because, it is all about sort of redirecting the gaze. Let's say that's what Medusa is all about. So she's the symbol for the festival this year. And as I will be emceeing the Saturday night show in that incredible hat, I wanted something that would kind of go with that vibe. And I am repurposing a bunch of other costuming. So imagine that this is all very organized and I didn't just put it on. But so this is a sort of Greek style, like a chiton. So it's got, you can't see the rest. It's long and flowy, goes down to here, goes with my fancy snaky high heels.
Yeah.
And I have a gold bodysuit that I'm going to be wearing underneath with red velvet gauntlets and lots of green makeup, and hopefully I had you at gold bodysuit.
Nice.
But yes, so I had to have somebody hem all of this business, because Paulo's the one who sews, and he's not going to be home for more than a few minutes until the middle of June. Thank you very much, Neely. I appreciate it. Yes, and so we just had a little costume consult. Oh, and there's even some snaky detailing on here. You can see that. Ooh. So kind of little Art Deco vibes.
Oh, yeah.
I also love the Medusa because, as you surely know, friends and viewers, our family does a lot of running back and forth to Italy because of Paulo's Italian-American heritage. And the Medusa was traditionally on the flag of Sicily. Recently, she's been sort of replaced by a generic, I suppose it's probably supposed to be Demeter. It's a less terrifying goddess with the wheat in the middle of the feet. But in the old days, it was the Medusa.
Snake eyes, people. Snake eyes.
Snake eyes, exactly. Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Medusa. That's and so Carmel, the Metatron, she did the hemming for me, and sewed these lovely businesses on here, and did a lot of fluffing and floofing, and gave me structural advice because that's one of her superpowers. And again, I have just piles and piles of green fabric on the table as I'm trying to figure out all the things. 4 changes of costume.
Nice.
So, sorry, that's what I was doing. I'm sorry to have interrupted the conversation on the subject of boodles.
No, it's all good. It's all good news. So Let's see. So, and it's like, oh, I want to get those. So here's the bringing up Butonians. This is where I might need some NPCs, because the players are going to be doing a little heist. They're going to snag a little item that they need for the whole rest of the plot. But the town of Boodles, I mean, it's going to have some people in it. It's got to have, there's got to be some kind of sheriff, maybe. I mean, it's a tiny town. It's a tiny, tiny town. I don't know. There's got to be some kind of temple, perhaps, maybe. I mean, even if it's a small shrine, right? I mean, right? No, maybe, So what I'm looking for are some wacky, worthy of note NPCs. And even if I don't have full stats on any of them, it doesn't matter, because if I've got some characters that are like, just so that I can say, oh, and there's this guy at the bar, and there's this guy at the bar, and then they go, ooh, I don't know, maybe don't mess with him, maybe don't mess with him. But it's like, I don't know.
Can I suggest you make a quick list of roles that you might need, because it'll be easier to wrap the mind around, a clever, cheeky name, again, for the sheriff or the local lawman or the tavern keeper in the janky town of. Did you clarify that, like, there is a real boodle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, no, sorry, I missed all that.
Oh, yes.
Great. So we knew we needed we always need a lawman and
you need a mayor. You gotta have a mayor.
Gotta have a mayor or whatever, the alderman, whatever they have.
And I think this town, well, and there needs to be some sort of threat. So there needs to be like one retired adventurer.
Oh, definitely.
Who's like, all right, you jackasses, what's happening?
Right.
Shing, or better yet, blam.
Sure, yes. So you need a
retired adventurer with a wand of lightning bolt is going to really be mad when he finds out that there's some Muncastrians trying to wreck Butolion's days. So
were they suddenly French? It's Butolion.
Brian the Boodle Boulder Thrower
only throws pebbles because that's all he can lift. Oh,
but he throws them really fast.
He's it's like he does that thing where he like pops it from his hand onto his forearm and like.
Oh yeah.
Okay. What else? So is the Battle of Buda likely to be happening like along the quay, like along the riverside?
I mean, that's all. I don't even know, because I'm gonna set up their little heist. They can do it however they want. So there's a pirate who's going to help him. It's helping the party. But what he's gonna try, the pirate is helping by having a load of fireworks that he's going to release at the right/wrong time, so that it's a diversion in their little harbor. And so that's as far as the pirate is willing to do, so that everyone's like, oh no, we're being attacked, or hey, look, there's fireworks.
Was the pirate human?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, he doesn't have to be, but
just happens. That's currently the default. We've also got Boodles. Oh, Bottles the Tabaxi Rogue, that appears to be of no importance, but the town was actually named after them, so it is Boodles. Yeah, why is the town called Boodles?
I asked the people at Muncaster, and they didn't know.
It's a really small town. One guy is the mayor, the postman, the chief of the volunteer fire department.
The head janitor. I mean, seriously, to the evil cult, yes.
I mean, they definitely probably are actually like the mayor and the postman, or whatever.
It's a seriously small town, yeah.
I think that the name Scubbo keeps coming to me for the pirate. Scubbo, I guess because
Scubbo sounds like a good first mate.
Yeah, right. Because aren't pirates supposed to have names that have inherent intimidation?
I mean, Captain.
What? That's their name. Their parent.
Hi, Captain. I never got his whole name. They just called him Captain.
The eye captain. Is it? Yeah. So
I do, okay. The great thing is like, okay, so I just had this really funny idea, or at least I think it's funny. So yes, it's the same guy. Oh wait, wasn't that in an Avatar? It was in the episode of Avatar. It was the same guy, but he would do it, but he like put on a different hat, and he like sold fish, and then he sold something else, but it was the same. It was the same guy in that town. Crap. It was a episode of Avatar: Last Airbender.
a self-appointed boulder bodyguard. You
But
need a town drunk with no filter.
but I would love the idea that it's the same guy doing all these different jobs, but he does try to do different accents. So
Because we all know how great your accents
because
are.
everyone knows that I do great accents ranging from here to slightly over here.
Right. It
Yeah.
starts out Italian American and ends up like a bad leprechaun, and that's about as far as it gets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And yeah, but it's like, oh no, I, the dungeon master, am not bad at accents. The guy is bad at accents, but he does try to keep them straight. Like, each one different. Blind Scubbo, which sounds like a drink, actually.
Ooh. If you weren't blind before, you will be once you have the scubbo.
Why do they call it Blind Scubbo? Oh God, I can't see.
So my mother went back into our family heritage looking for good names when the kids were born. Absolutely none of which I picked because they were good D&D names and not names that you might probably want to use, including my ancestor Dorcas, which was a female sea captain, Dorcas, Dorcas. Apparently that was before it came to mean what it means now. It was like a, I want to say like a name with some swagger, Lady Sea Captain Dorcas. And there's all those orca whales sinking boats right now. So, there's the extra note of terror.
Wait, blind? Is this true? Kara, are you speaking the truth? Is Blind Scubbo in Pratchettlandia in Discworld boiling waters with nothing in it?
Yeah, Scubbo is like it's like stone soup, but it's made of whatever garbage sailors or soldiers can put together. Like, so,
I love it. Well, thank you for that information because I love it. First of all, I love Terry Pratchett. And I've probably said this many a times on this channel, but I had never read his books until much later, and I had so many people who would play D&D with me and then go, "Oh man, it's like being in a Terry Pratchett book," and I was like, "Huh?" And I just didn't know. I literally didn't know, and then I finally started reading them, and I was like, it's like he's reading my mind. Like, but then made it even more clever.
Right. Yeah, he's
It's like,
he spent the last 30 years of his life being able to just world build,
Yeah. It's like way to like read my mind and then make it even more clever, you bastard.
Right.
So good. And I mean,
the collaborators. Kara, I want to tell you that I read at least half of his books every year. I'm a very fast reader, and so I welcome the work of anyone who's written 60 novels or more. And so I've read more than 40 of his novels this year in the last 4 months. Because when I got laid up, I was like, I've got nothing to do except to lay here and read every novel I can lay my hands on. So I reread even some of his early ones that I hadn't reread in a decade. So anyway, you and me.
Yes.
Yes, I think like the Scubbo because Scubbo is like scummy, which is like because it's made out of whatever you can put together, which seems like a very piratical sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And I am absolutely making his first mate blind.
Scubbo.
just because that's beautiful. Oh, what was the thing that we saw in Bari, Pescara?
Which
the square. The square.
Oh yes, right. Oh my gosh. So this is for the Pratchett fan. So again, I've read Terry Pratchett's novels over and over for the last 12 years or whatever. That's when I became aware of them. So he always talks about in the center of Ankh-Morpork is Sator Square, Sator, just the name of the town square. I never thought to think what that would mean, which is silly of me because, of course, Sator Square. And so we were in Bari, in this little town in southern Italy, doing a little reconnaissance for tours, and we were go through a little tiny, or we're in Pescara, most of which had been bombed and destroyed during wars and things. There's just a little tiny historic section that's like a few blocks. We're walking along, late at night, and one of my favorite games is do some shots and then try to translate things from Latin. So we see this on the wall, carved into the wall, and I was like, it's a Sator Square. It's one of those old magical squares people used to carve onto their houses. I had never made the connection between this ancient thing.
Well, I can't remember what are the middle ones, because it's
all the same letters. They just moved through all the same letters. So
is the middle one tarot?
I want to say yes, but I can't tell if that's my tarot bias, because there's a whole thing about the Sator Square for tarot people. Aripo and opera is what Kara says. So yeah, Sator Square. Anyway, blew my mind. I exploded. First mate with 2 eye patches. Does he think when we say "I, Captain," we're making fun of him? Well, I was thinking like, because of course, if the captain has a hook for a hand, he'd probably clock the first mate in the eye by accident. But I didn't want to stereotype pirate captains. But I mean, he could, since somebody in your world has a shark for a hand. I mean, I guess it could be anything. Yes, look at that. You're getting careful writing there. Is it John Caro? Am I pronouncing it correctly, John? All right, so let me see. Oh, and to answer the question for Kara about my favorites, I am currently rereading The Amazing Maurice. But I'm a real Moist von Lipwig fan, so it's like all of the very serious Sam's Vimes ones and the Moist ones. I feel like those are a bunch of his best work. Tiffany Aching too, also of course.
Oh,
really
it's an E-N in the middle. Rotas. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Moist.
Sorry, Sator Square.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Right.
That is the Sator Square.
Yes.
Sator Aurepo Tenet Opera Rotas.
Again, if you're wandering around drunk trying to translate Latin, like this clearly has hints of things you would know.
So we're wandering from so what? Because it was, what were we celebrating? Oh, it was Valentine's.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Valentine's Day.
I know we're celebrating something. So we went to a really nice restaurant and had a few really great cocktails, and we were wandering down the streets.
Oh, and there was a glass panel in the center of the floor of the restaurant that looked into the cellar to the Roman ruins they had discovered when they were like installing a new furnace or something. And they decided to make sure that you could see it. So you could like get down and peer and see into the archaeology at the bottom of the building.
And just, part of the wall was just like an old Roman column. Like, what are you going to do with it? I don't know. It's rock. Why don't you just leave it there?
Been there for 2,000 years. May as well just leave it there.
Paulie, what are you doing?
I love that these Romans talk like they're from my hometown.
All Romans talk like they're from New Jersey. Just
right.
I don't know if you knew that. That's Roman accent.
Oh my God.
That's my ancient Roman accent. All ancient Romans are Jersey boys.
Bro.
Hey, Paulie, what are you doing? Tony. Anyway, so we have a few drinks. We're walking down the street, adorable little town, and then you just came across, and it was like on a wall. the Sador Square. And you went, oh, it's the Sador Square. And then you went, Sador Square? Sador Square!
Fist bump is the national dance. Yes, I felt like such a dork. Like, again, I pride myself as a, chatty Gemini and being pretty good about word things and cognates. And I just couldn't believe that one had blown me by.
It was
that's depth, people. That's what we're looking for.
I know.
So,
I was just like, mother scratching Terry Pratchett. Yeah, like I made a terrible city called Magecroft. He has Ankh-Morpork, and I can't. I was like so many, so many parallels, but yet different, thankfully, so that people aren't just like, he's stealing all the ideas.
I would like to call attention to the fact that a bit further ago in the chat, Sir David Percival said, Captain Color Me Scribbles. Color Me Scribbles. If nothing else, I think that Pirate Captain Scribbles is hilarious.
Scribbles.
Scribbles. It makes him sound like, like he's very busy, but perhaps not getting a lot done. Scribbles. I like that. So make sure that makes it on the list.
All right. John Caro, the first mate with 2 eye patches. Does he think we're making fun of him when he says, aye, Captain? By the way, that's hilarious. Secondly, then the rebuttal of the, I don't know if he can spell, we mean aye, Captain, with the greatest respect. You lost me.
Captain.
He can't spell, he's blind. Nice. Maybe he can still spell. I don't know. Yes. Anyway, so yes, I love where we're going with this. This is a good set of names, though. Fedor, Arepo, Tenet, Opera, and Rotus.
Right. I mean, after all, Tenet is my favorite Doctor Who.
Right. So.
Let me see. I'm just scrolling back through the list. Again, this is the Town Drunk with no filter. Actual changeling, some people don't know. So the cleric at the shrine is also the gravekeeper and is also the mayor and does quick changes. Yep. Different hats. And Brian, the tiny super fast boulder chucker has to be like, secret weapon. And Captain Scribbles.
Scribbles. Nice.
Love that. What else did you tell them about the I'm sorry to make you repeat everything, but in synopsis, what did I miss? What else do they know about?
We just talked about jumping on the train, going over to Eskdale Mill, right, and then coming back. It's like that mill has been in operation 500 years. Like, I just want you to think about that.
Way older than America.
And what's really great is that I love it in haiku. There are the old millstones, because eventually millstones get worn down, they get worn out, and you have to change them. Which, of course, these things must weigh like 700 pounds by them, like individually.
Just like if you've ever used a pumice stone, like or an emery board, you use it for a while, and eventually it stops doing its job because all the grit has been worn off, right?
Right.
Kind of like the ancient teeth in archaeology. They're like, oh, you can tell this person lived for a long time because literally their teeth were ground down, as it is with millstones.
And so, so they just take them out. They just take them out. And then they don't take them very far because they weigh 700 pounds. So there's a path of millstones. So, you think about how long that millstone lasted. 50 years, 60, 70, maybe. I mean, I actually don't know what the average lifespan of a millstone is.
Right.
But, it's like, well, we're adding, because they're like, what? They're like 4 feet in diameter.
Oh, yeah.
So they're pretty freaking big. And you're like, well, we've added 4 more feet to our driveway.
Right. Yeah, they just lay them down or stand them up. They're built into the walls.
And then in another 70 years, we'll add 4 more feet.
I wonder, here's the real question is not how many years, but how many rotations? Because in a day, how many thousands and thousands and thousands of rotations, and then in a year, how many thousands of rotations? And then how many dozens of years? Like, it boggles the mind.
Yeah, I mean, and that thing spins really fast. It's amazing. Water powered mill, just how fast that wheel spins. Oh man, I wonder if I can queue up a video. It would take me too long, I think, to do it, but it's like, and nuts. You know what? If you want to talk for a minute, maybe I'll go find this video and then
I do. I'll take a moment to share what I learned about mills while we were there. Truly, if you asked me when I woke up, would you like to learn how ancient mills worked? To be honest, I'm not all that keen on mechanisms per se. Like, I like that they work, but I've never spent much of my life learning about how they work. I drive a car. I do not fix a car. However, being in the mill, so fascinating because you can literally see everything. It's all right there happening, and it's multiple stories tall, rooms wide there, and it's all right there where you can see it. It's so amazing because you go, it seems so self-evident once you see it, and yet that humans had to trial and error for who knows thousands of years to figure this stuff out. So one of the cool things, there's all these various retired stones. As somebody, I think it was John Cara, was saying, it depends on how hard your grain is, how long the stones last. It also depends on what kind of stone. So most of the time in this particular mill in Eskdale, they're using a particular kind of local stone that has a big grit, like it's like like very rough sandpaper, I want to say, in order to make the grain or to grind it down into flour. However, when the fashion came in for people to eat white bread, they had to actually change the millstones they used because white bread became very popular because of the incursion, I think, of French culture. And if you use the normal millstones to grind the bread would actually be gray because so much grit actually came off in those millstones into the bread. And this is why people's teeth would wear down so very much in the old days. And archaeologists can date you forensically in part because of how ground your teeth are. So much grit would come out into the bread that it would make your bread gray. And so in order to have white bread for the people that really wanted white bread, they actually had to import particular kind of white stone. They had these much smaller millstones that they imported, I think, again, from France, specifically to grind white bread so it wouldn't leave noticeable particulate. It probably still left particulate, but because it was white instead of the local gray stone, it made it more palatable for people who wanted their bread to either be brown, like the bread they grew up with, or white, like fancy bread. But apparently nobody wanted stone gray bread. Let me see, I'm looking at the notes here. We've got to autocorrected change. The two are in the, sorry, I don't know what that means, Sir David Percival. So much cheaper to throw a little bleach in there. Blame the French. Glances at husband off screen. Ooh, throwing international shade. Yeah. As John Karras says, like, so much cheaper to throw a little bleach in there, which of course, the problem with white bread now is that it is usually bleached. P.S. Bleach, not great for you. And if you don't already know about the history of adulterated food dating back through the Victorian period in England, it is an education in everything that is horrible that people do. Cajun French, close enough. Mais oui. So what else can I tell you about millstones? Takes very little water to run this mill. I hope that you all get to come here and see it someday because it was so incredible. But it was astonishing. This building is 3 stories tall and full of, again, giant machinery. Like, you could see how somebody falls asleep at their duty. You could see that this sheer force of this thing could just cause some real trouble. But it's just a little bit of water comes through the mill race to run this enormous mechanism that uses not only the water but the fall down the slope. Highly recommend. And it's just off in the middle of, you just hike off from the train station along somebody's little private little so English. Little private little road, quiet little road. You come out, there's the mill, and then behind it, it just opens up into the moors. I want to say into the fells. So it's like there's stone circles up there and sheep, and it's pretty super friggin' mystical. I have to put my glasses on to read the comments. You mean like them eating mummies, Axio dragons, and making paint, Victorian England? Yes, exactly. The mummy brown. That's exactly right. That's part of the whole adulteration of food. Those people would eat anything. But then again, people in the future are going to be like, and they ate gummy bears. Did anybody even ever think what those things were made of?
Hey,
hey, did you find it?
I did. Not only that, but I found a Steve-O.
Hello.
What? I love that guy.
Hey, that's me.
Hey.
Hi, Steve-O. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here. I'm here to answer every question.
Ooh. Every question?
I am about to, if I can, share this. Wait, hang on. Where are we? Not share screen. I just want to share a tab. No, share a window. There you are. Yes.
Does Steven know what he's here for? So he doesn't wonder why this is diverted.
Steve, welcome to the wild, wild world of
15th century mill technology.
So this is a quick video. Hang on, let's see if we got this here. Him. I said play. Yeah. Here we go. Check it out. I believe I'm pointing at the. Oh, come on, you. There we go. Yep. There's a little widget that spins and bonks that little wooden piece.
Yeah.
Right there, and then it spins it onto that wheel. And then it goes around that conveyor belt. That conveyor belt is being powered by all that water, and it spins a whole nother wheel. And yeah, and that's what that looks like. And that whole drive shaft over there, that big thing, I'm pointing at it like you can see my finger. Oh yeah, here look. That's called the wife because it bops this little piece of wood, which is where all that's called the shoe. That's where all the grain falls down. And then falls into that wheel. And that wheel, did you see how fast that wheel was spinning?
It's going very, very fast. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ask yourself what random misogynistic reason it was called a wife? I did. And the answer was because it couldn't stop making noise.
Right.
It literally goes,
I mean, and that's faster than one full rotation in 1 second. It's probably just under a second. Stevo. Yes.
Yes.
So I got excited.
It's very yes. So, we've all seen the end of Frankenstein. We know what's inside of a windmill. Like,
yeah.
That's partly why that movie has been watched as many times as it has been. Yes, it's man creating man from dead organs, but it also spoiler alert ends in a windmill, and you learn all about windmills.
There you go.
Gotta love that ancient technology.
Yeah.
Wait, so is it Stevo or Stevo? Because
Stevo.
Okay, great. Because I mean, I know you by your other name first. So
yes. Beloved entertainer Hob the Troll.
Yes, indeed. Fantastic. And Kara, thank you. Yes, I can't wait to see you at the Grey Eagle and the Orange Peel show in a week. I'll look very fancy. So we were just chatting about the D&D tour that's coming up so soon, and then I've got this big Burlesque and Sideshow Festival coming up this next week, which is why I'm in state of semi dress here. You always fancy. So we're coming up with names as part of the creative process to name NPCs and so forth.
Oh, I will be you if you need some dumb names. I'll be right back.
Great. I'm going to make a plug while this person is off screen, but they have a, dare I say, great album. I can't remember what the hell it's called because I was so gobsmacked at the time. Hopefully they'll tell you. They have a great album of what appears to be brilliant original songs and cover songs that they recorded in their, what is it, troll, goblin? What are they? Mm-hmm. Persona? Yes. In their non-human, very charming Yes, thank you. The troll in their troll persona. Can't say enough good things about it. Good night, Sir David Percival. Oh yes, Nina Lee's like, oh, it's Hob the troll. Yes, exactly. So I didn't know. I knew the troll, not the man, and sometimes it takes a minute.
Okay.
Here we are. Dumb names.
So, as some of you also may know, I've been Royston Badger News pamphleteer over at Sterling and Royston Badger News, Sheriff of Warwick. So what I will do is I will spend a couple a good part of my day just writing up imaginary names. I have a book full of them.
Oh my God.
Here we go.
Oh my God.
Gladys Hornwinkle, John Jimsley Fluff, Grimsby Tinkletousle, Kimberforth Tinkletousle, Mimsy Snoot, Florian Ambergris Jamlington, Rosalind Fist, Daphne Luxury, Jeremy Chickens, Mary Michael Mumbles, Jasper Fizzlewrong, Olive Skulldug, Christopher Lamprey, Monson Razzleberry, Robert Hamhock, Raoul Castlevania, Sir Alvin Simon of Theodore, Bastion Waterchoke, Genevieve Sneezes Castlevania, Elias Codhouse, Lulsey Gargles, Juan Crocodile, Hazel Muffin Butter, Tawny Muffin Butter, Agnes Muffin Butter, Shim Muffin Butter Crocodile.
And the whole Muffin Butter family.
Yeah, and she married into the crocodile. Thackeray,
Okay, wait. You had someone. Hang on. I just need to go back. It's a deluge. But I want to go back a little bit. There was somebody whose last name was Fist.
Yes, Rosalind Fist.
Rosalind. See, and you said it, and I thought of, what about Raisin Fist? Like.
I thought about Rosalind Chapel.
These are not jokes. These are people's names. Come on now.
The funny thing is,
Abraham Soldering Iron, Gregory Peggery.
What's he into?
Gregory Peggery.
Margaret Slaghouse, Glastonbury Bunions, Shazbot McGillicuddy, Little Francis Puddles, Uncle Carl Thumbtack Smith Jones, Dusty Buckets, High Lord Thomas Tooth, James Pigeonbiter, Richard Chickenpox, Alabaster Cuticle.
I have to point out that's Dick Chickenpox, which is a sad, sad state of affairs in the playground.
I mean, it's not as bad as that other made-up name. What is it? Cumberbatch?
Right.
Jamble Snoot.
William Proboscis. Gaston Fistula.
Ugh.
Yeah, I've got lots of these. I got yeah. So if you ever need just
Engelbert Humperdinck.
We're just gonna put you on speed dial then.
Yeah, I'd like to phone a friend.
Yeah.
Right.
Next time any player asks me what's his name.
What's the bellhop's name, DM?
Well, that would be Marcus Swunkelstrunk.
Swunkelstrunk?
I've been wasting my whole life not coming up with random names.
Roger Pimples, Roger Dimples, Roger Pringles, Sean Hammertoes, Other Brian, Archduke Timothy Mammal,
Other Brian,
Good Wife Shelley Knuckledrag.
So Steve-O, I bet as an exercise, I bet you might find this fun. So my uncle from the war, from back in the day, he went back to the small town that during World War II. So he was fighting for the Americans. He was originally born in Sicily, was growing up in America, got joined into the army, and then ended up going all the way through Africa back into Sicily. And he was like, hey, I'm near my hometown. So he goes to his hometown. Long story short, but he managed to he convinced a tank driver and to bring a tank to his small town, which was very surprising for everyone. But he then threatened the entire town with this tank and told the town in Sicilian, mind you, because they didn't speak Italian there,
right,
to bring us the man they call Ghiottono, which means thick neck. which is just the nickname of the kid he grew up with when he was 6 years old. And the thing about Sicilian nicknames, they stay with you forever.
Yeah.
So he knew that the 20-year-old kid named Thickneck was still going to be called Thickneck even after 15 years. So I like, as an exercise,
Yes.
if Thickneck could be a nickname, what other strange body parts could we attribute an ability to and call that a nickname as well?
Well, I want to serve as a caveat here in that uh, this is not necessarily to body shame anybody, but I always thought a great name would be Microsophocles.
Nice.
You know, when somebody is their body is too big for their head, just the mighty Microsophocles.
Absolutely.
Nice. Like, because Thickneck, you're not making fun necessarily. You're just saying this man has an
Yeah,
abnormally thick neck rather than anyone else. So,
Not even
long
abnormally,
elbows,
just notably,
just
yes.
notably thick neck. Not a bad thing
right.
necessarily.
And also, if you just take away the adjective, right, and just call someone, kneecap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going with knees. That was my
yeah,
like, what can we do with
Knees.
knees?
yeah. Knees. Yeah, kneecap. And they're like, who's that? Like, it's a, could like going back to childhood. Like, oh yeah, we were playing soccer that one time, and just like, all we could see were his knees.
Right.
Like, yeah, knees.
Knees. Yeah. And he probably had a real name like that was like Nico. So
Yeah.
he's like really
Right.
close to knees, so just now they just call him knees, Yeah.
I wrote
Thighs.
a joke in a show, and I'm sure I pulled it off of something else that I can't remember what it was from. So there's probably a little bit of joke borrowing, but this was 15 years ago, so I feel like the time has passed. It was a gangster introducing his henchmen. He's like, "We got over here. This is Knuckles. He's our brawler. He's a boxer. Kills a man in the ring. And then we got Legs. Legs knows judo, and can kick a man to death. And then there's Johnson. So you're in trouble." So, thank you. Went over real well with the retirees at the dinner theater.
Yeah.
They might have needed the John Thomas instead. A term I recognize from the before times.
All right. Yes.
I threw in Cankles there because
Yeah.
Good old
Yeah.
Cankles.
right,
Cankles McGee.
right. I mean, it's the calling the bald guy curly, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I love your list. And I would like to mention that it's not so much in y'all's world, but like, with in the kids' games, like they tend to default to like sort of really dorky white bread names most of the time. And like it's no offense to anyone who has these names, but like the names that were my grandparents, like it's George, it's that kind of thing. And I'm like, you're in another universe where most people aren't humans. Like, why are you constrained by everything being modeled on sort of fake English? Like, you could make it fake Italianish or fake Spanglish or like, I like the Microsophocles there because it's like,
Yeah.
totally like we're taking Latin and turning at an
Right.
angle from there. So now I realize Boodles, of course, in this world is set in an English village, so there might be a tendency to make it English-ish. But again, in a world where only some of the people are human, like there's no reason to be
Right.
limited by that,
Sure.
Yeah.
which is
And
why I love
technically it's only as human as like any any town that's along the coastline of a well-traveled area that would have various different races coming back and forth. So maybe the town itself, the original inhabitants might have formed, it might have been a group of humans, but over the years, that could absolutely change. There'd easily be some Tabaxi or some Draconians or Draconians. They're not even Draconians anymore.
Raleigh Rafter. I mean, whoever it is that would be in a coastal area, also, like, I don't know, maybe there's some trolls, like, who mind you throwing rocks for all different reasons because they're trolls,
Wow.
like,
wow.
That's
well, let's go back to talking about why the humans have colonized these foreign lands.
Yes, let's
talk about that. Let's talk about how the fact that what do you call your castle? Stolen from natives? This river is called the blood of the oppressed. It's a beautiful thing.
I am firmly anti-colonialist when it comes to this sort of thing. And they were talking about stealing rocks, and of course, it's like, well,
Yes. There was so Steve-O, you missed the preamble was that the town of Boodles, the real town of Boodles, near the real town of Muncaster, had a ancient rivalry, and it may or may not have started. It continued, but it certainly continued with one certain smuggler from the 1500s stealing rocks off of their break wall to put into the bottom of his boat for ballast.
Yeah,
and that ended up with the deaths of several people.
Well, we talk about them being like, rocks from a rock wall, and you're like, oh yeah, but in terms of like the special or like hey, we're not really using with a I'm trying to figure out how to say this. There's a lot of variables when it comes to like the condition of the mortar that you're laying. It's not really like, you can't really be picky and choosy. You kind of have to work with what you have. And if something's too big, you're going to spend a lot of time to break that rock to the right size to fit in that one spot. It's very easy just to be like, oh yeah, they're rocks. You find them everywhere. Well, you find them everywhere because people have been digging them up with their work for a long time.
They just put them right here. They're just laying them right here. It fell off the back of a boat or something. This one doesn't
fit the wall. This one doesn't fit the wall.
The break wall.
We're so used to just having everything. Like, well, why don't you go to Lowe's and pick it? Because you don't
it's so much easier to grab rocks that someone has already dug out of the mountainside
that are already the right size that you can actually move.
Yeah.
And that's why there's no ruins left. As somebody said, these ruins were ruined when we got here because it's much easier to mine them from somebody else's wall than it is to mine them from the ground and make them wall shaped.
Yeah.
Hello,
I
Ick.
just want to welcome Ick, the Troll King, to the show. Hello. Good. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. Also, I want to thank. All right. So when you put an A there, is it John Caro or is it Jan? Because I just when there's an A there, I always want to say Jan. So yes, I love that. Also, quoting one of my favorite plays ever, Cyrano de Bergerac. Love it. So yes. So you let me know. Is it Jan or is it John?
Yes, I'd love to pronounce it properly. I've spent my whole adult life having my name humorously mangled by people, so please let me know. Usually being called Anka and sometimes Orca. I would love to get your name right if I can.
I'm writing a song for Hob the Troll that is along the lines of, hey, sport, hey, you, because little behind the curtain here, as a performer, sometimes you will know our name, and we have met a couple times. We don't know who you are.
Right. Absolutely.
Really, like, it's really good just to like say, hey, it's me. Name here. That's super helpful because we need a lot of people.
And if you friend, come to a show, and you have a different name online, if I
Yes.
interact with you mostly here, and here your name is, Plantain Mama 301, but you think I'm going to remember that your name is Mary, I'm going to remember whatever one that I see the most. So if you have to be like, hey, Plantain Mama, I'll be like, oh, great. Do you have another name, or do you want me to call you Plantain? Like, because as an event organizer, I also may only know you by your PayPal address or whatever, depending what I see the most. So.
All right. Well, Jan, I'm going to call you Jan because also one of my favorite. Oh my gosh. What a little scene movie. And someone had to point this out to me. It was a Jack Black movie.
It was me.
And it's called The Polka King.
Oh,
and
yeah.
his name is Jan, and it's like, is it Jan or John? And it was like, he's like, whatever you call me is fine. And I'm like,
so they just
do you not know how to pronounce your own name?
Oh,
but it is a fantastic movie, by the way. So I'm just
there's also a documentary
so
as well about that guy.
So good.
Oh,
yeah, fascinating.
I'm dying to watch it if that's true, because he's truly a chaos lord. How amazing. So Lil Kitten said they're going to get a Lil Kitten name tag for LARF. Again, that and Axio Dragons, we were into that issue at NOLA Renfest, right? Like, I just help us out, because we might not know. Hob, I was telling them while you were off screen about your hilarious and awesome album. So I suggest tell them where to find it or what it's called. I was like, it's great. I can't even remember what it's called.
Well, you can go to hobthetroll.bandcamp.com, and there might even be like a tag in the Gothic Horror Gaming thing of it. But yeah, hobthetroll at .bandcamp.com. I'll put it in the chat.
Is there more than one album? Because I listened.
Oh, there are so many albums. We've got you got the most recent one, Stop Making Songs. We've got 50 Million Hob Fans Can't Be Found. We've got Pet Smells. We've got 3 Christmas albums, folks. Troll the Ancient Yuletide Carols volumes 1, 2, and 3, and a couple of singles in there. They're real obnoxious. They're really fun to listen to on a Bluetooth speaker at a Target.
I have to tell you, I don't know where you've been my entire life, but like, this is making my world that this exists. So thank you.
Thank you. It's Mid-America Fairs, but I'm free now, so bless. That's a personal choice. I'm not gonna. Yeah.
No. Awesome. So, moving away from the town of Boodles.
Yes.
Away from the Dwarven steam train. Ooh, we got to have a name for that train. Dwarven steam train that usually hauls stone down to the town of Ravenglass. And so
what? Okay, I'm going to. I've got an idea. Is there a? What is the name of the duct that? Well, we got to be careful. Like, is it the path of a kidney stone? What's that? What's the medical term for that?
Urethra?
Well, yeah. Well, there's that, but I wonder if there's, from the kidneys to that.
Renal has been suggested.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's accurate.
The Renal Express?
That sounds like at least 2 different kinds of aqua.
Well, in true D&D fashion, we can switch those letters around and make it the Lenar.
True enough. The renal rail. Ooh, Jan Caro.
That sounds horrible.
It's just a very bespoke activity. Like, somebody's really into it. The renal rail.
Now, as we all know, well, maybe we don't, but some of our new people, of course, the planet that I've created is called Earth, because I failed to spell Earth correctly on a science test in 4th grade, and I never got over it. And so I said to the science teacher straight up, because I just started playing D&D, and I said, no, I didn't misspell Earth. Earth is my planet. So I got it right, because I was so mad. And then people who have watched this channel know this story again and again. Because I was a big, believe it or not, giant nerd when I was in 4th grade. And I knew all the names of the planets and where they were in the solar system, et cetera, et cetera. And we had 9 planets back then, not the 8 that
No,
you kids
there were
today.
still 8. We were just wrong, so it's okay.
Well, we had to name it as a planet. So we had, and I knew them in order, blah, blah, blah. And I was racing to fill in this test, and I saved Earth for last because I knew Earth was the 3rd rock from the sun. So yeah. And then, Pluto was big enough for your mom. So yeah, so then I got it wrong, and I was like, boom, and I handed it into the teacher, and I was like, hail the conquering hero. And then we got the quiz back, and she was like, well, somebody spelled Earth wrong. And I was like, what dumbass did that? Why is she handing me the paper? Anyway,
I want to point out that there is I understand why, and I've never thought about it till now, because of course I've heard that story a few times. But it's funny that we dropped the last one in this world, the last letter, because by that standard, we should have lived on a planet called Eartha. Like if you're dropping the last one.
Eartha.
Right, because I mean, isn't the thing that you like, it's Saturday or whatever, like you lose the final letter in your words, right?
Right.
Your naming conventions, but you actually dropped the second one, which by that standard, your name should have been Polo, because you're actually losing the second letter. I can see why we didn't do that, because that is a naming hell. But and my name would be Osa.
There you go. Yeah, no.
This would be Sivo. See, like it's yeah. Second letter.
Terra.
Nice.
Right. But I was just thinking the renal rail. They can ride on the renal. It would be Rena Ra. Huh.
I think that the renal rail is like something to do with going to the tavern, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, or also just any of geology, really. We could probably pull a bunch of names from that. Because if it's a dwarven thing going, that's moving stones, they might also want to name it after something crystalline in structure.
Fair enough.
And so many folks are into the gems and the crystals that just a wealth of names that are none of which are jumping out at me.
Well, when you say that, it makes me think, because of course there's different kinds of people that are into crystals. There are people who are like mining minerals for functional purposes, and then there are people that are into crystals because they're like, it's witchy stuff, in which case the railroad is actually woo woo.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. There it is, right there. I think we found it. We may be they may be miners, but they just struck gold with that one. Boy, oh boy!
Oh, nice.
No, that is all of that is wonderful.
There's a very pretentious crystal shop near the train station, at the very least, called Woo Woo.
And that's the thing. So here's the thing. This actually fits really well because, and this is not a spoiler alert. This is you discover this at the very beginning. The mill, which is run by the dwarves, they have the magic stone, and it's not just ordinary mill. It's actually a crystal polishing mill. So because of the magic stone that they use in the mill, it actually turns the large gemstones that they have into ion stones. As the I don't even know if they have them in 5e, but I have them because I've been around. So they turns them into magical stones, magical crystals that actually already turns these into magical crystals. So it is the Woo Woo Express. Woo-woo! It absolutely is.
Well, thank you. It took a village for us to get there together, but as the person most likely to actually be telling people's fortunes on this tour, I personally am all here for the Woo Woo Express.
The dwarves call it the Rockin' Railroad. The trolls call it the Pebble Woo Woo. All right, but we still need a name for the engine because
it's the rail, not the rail line. You're actually talking about the particular engine.
The engine itself. And there might be two engines. One they're going there, one going back. You know.
Right. It's super cute because the actual you probably told them it's a miniature gauge railroad, and it just goes from one place to another place. Like it's not part of a larger circuit because it's the tourmaline, because it's a non-standard railroad size, so they can't connect with other ones. And so they actually get to the end in Eskdale where the mill is, disconnect it. A guy gets out and physically pushes the train around on a little lazy Susan. He actually rotates the engine in place, like just leaning against it. He's taller than the actual engine. Turns it around. Everybody stands around going, "Oh my God, it's so cool. It's so cute. I can't believe this is real life." And then
Let me
they
see if I have.
pointing the other way.
I might actually have that video. I do. Oh my gosh.
Well,
okay.
now I've told you
right.
how it goes, but imagine you could see yourself in a super cute little, kind of creepy seaside village in a tiny miniature train station. Ooh, everybody's going. The wave motion machine, the quartz quarry.
All right, check this out, y'all. Check out this buffering.
Man, you're so buff. Look, see, there's a little circular track that goes around, and I think they had just had the
turntable.
Queen.
Yeah.
They still had the like Jubilee action stuff going around. I think all the little flags. See, he's actually rotating the engine. A man is pushing it. Look.
See, tell you, it's dwarf sized. It's perfect.
It's so amazing. And then they reattach it on the other side.
Do you think on this guy's dating profile he says that he's an engineer?
Right.
It's like, not lying. I am an engineer. Just of trains. Right. Like trains.
And the lady or whatever, the person that he meets on the date might be like, "Oh, I thought you were like an engineer." But their kids are like, "Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad's new boyfriend drives the tiny train."
I do know Sir Topham Hatt. Yes.
Exactly. Look. It's stunningly adorable. And there's the cute little train station right behind it where you can get a little hot chocolate or some crazy English soda.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing. It's amazing. And it's like that's just the size they built because that's the size they needed it for the the thing they were doing. So
Sally went and looked up some geology, I think, because she's got the Beat Nice engine, which is the GNEISS, which is a geology term. Nice. Gneiss. Crystalline chariot.
The crystal method.
Yep.
We call it the crystal meth.
On Chris Meth. You never would have heard of it.
I still think the tourmaline, that's my vote because I thought of it. So that's
I like it. Well, what line is it? Is it the red line? Is it the yellow line? It's the tourmaline.
Yeah.
Right? Classy.
The tourmaline, yes.
Yeah,
I love it.
I like it. Oh my gosh, I wish I could bring every one of you there to see it.
It's freaking
also adorable. If anybody else is running games and wants to purchase my packet of NPC names, contact me at hobthetroll.bandcamp.com. Boy, oh boy. I've also come up with a whole bunch of different kinds of fantasy vegetables and fruits. If you care to hear those.
Yeah.
All right. We've got the hammerflower, gristle leaf, sham sprouts, artichoke tentacles, golden gherkins, dimpled cabbage, Dutch damp peppers, lobster fruit, donkey egg. You guys know what a donkey egg is?
No.
It's a coconut. Swatch leaf, castiglionettes, Wu-Tang tanishes, meat for beans, finger peas, marshmallows, sandy plums.
Oh
you get those at the beach.
Yes, you do. Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm charmed and repelled in equal measures. Just so
yums.
I think
I forgot about some of these.
You could probably just make this a song. Honestly, I think you need to read them out.
Uh-huh.
And then we lay down a track and then just like
Oh
Like,
yeah.
this
Let's
is
also not forget the masterpiece.
masterpiece.
Yeah,
Finger
PEAS, and
Cool.
of course, from the island of Michael McDonald, the Yamo Bee pair.
I'm saying this is gonna be like a freaking TikTok that's gonna go viral. All you just have to just like,
Ah, the current day Vine, love it.
oh my goodness,
Wow.
it's
Yeah, I just want to walk through this market and be offered things that I can say yes and no to. Like, was it Shamberries or whatever? Yes,
Yes,
please.
sham sprouts. Yes.
Sam sprouts, yes. Artichoke tentacles, perhaps not as much. Vine, I would have called that.
fine.
They're good in smoothies.
I think we have something here. I mean, honestly, I think this is super viral. I'm just, yeah, I got it.
I also have some. Speaking of viral, I have diseases that I came up with. Let's see.
I'm going to bet. I would like to bet an imaginary unit of the local currency that it will be almost indistinguishable from the list of vegetables.
Oh no, it's pretty. So Bogfoot, the Scratchies, Plowman's Wind, Fishwife's Limp, Scrunkle Holes, Ear Drip, Cheek Waste, Ingrown Squats. A couple of these might be a little familiar to people. Juggler's Crotch and Giggle Squirts.
Please do not get those two confused for my sake.
No, Dutchman's Slime Cuticle Syndrome. Nursery Styes. The Skull Screams. Super Dropsy.
Ooh, your dropsy is just super.
And of course, Big Head. When you just have that's Megasophocles, really.
Right, that's me. I have underneath this hair. I have a very large melon. One of our lovely folks has said, "How many books of names do you have?" That is their comment.
No one can truly know. There's some absolute terrifying evil in here that I will use for the purposes of good.
Axio Dragon says he has all of the books of names, it seems. Oh, would the skull screams be a migraine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that's a migraine that you brought on by doing something terrible.
If you've ever read John Hodgman's The Area of My Expertise, he lists the 500 hobo names through all history.
Wow.
And the audiobook, he reads all of them, and it is glorious.
The area of my expertise.
I have another video of the mini train as we were on the mini train and we passed another one. So it's a really cute engine. So we passed by a whole bunch of people. So just remember all those names. You can just read out all the names as we pass by each person, naming them. Here we go. So yeah, and then bam.
The moist piston, as Ick calls it. See, look, the little train cars are just 2 people wide. They hadn't invented the central aisle to walk down yet, so you just have to step out.
They even had cabins with roofs. So there you go.
Okay, cute.
It's such a cute little thing. Can't believe it.
Blows the mind. Freaking adorable.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, it is almost that time. What were the other things that we were going to talk about?
We named the train, or we got some ideas for the name of the train, some ideas for that.
Yep, some names for the citizens.
Good.
Some things they might eat and diseases they might therefore catch. We got some ideas for those.
All right.
Cheek waste.
The final, my like, I need some good random things. The players are gonna possibly run into a kind of mini pocket dimension where all of the things that a monster has eaten have gone. So everything that this monster ate has gone to this little pocket dimension so that everyone's kind of alive. It's been centuries, maybe it's been a long time. Maybe this creature has lived for a long, long time, So they might run into some people who are still alive from days of yore. So not even like a couple of old-timey names, like a knight from a ancient culture, you know.
So pre-English-ish?
It could be anything. Anything. It's an interdimensional creature. It could have eaten somebody from some other place.
I wager Steve-O's got a book for that too.
Yeah, I want, I don't want to completely, take over the sandbox here.
No, you're only helping. I mean, he's gonna just like
do your worst.
Half the things you've already said, we've been like, I think I already have misremembered it in a way that makes it spawn of your thought, but unique.
Anastasia Tuber-Toupee, Hortensia Downs, Mallory Riding Snores. Well, some of these I want to make sure we don't get demonetized or whatever, get put on a list. Sarita Tile Cleaner, Hercule Ointment, Carlton Lloyd Webber.
Nice.
You want like older timer name? I got you.
Like how old timey? Are we talking 1,000 years ago? Or are we talking
1,000
years
sure.
ago? Okay.
Random letters.
Davidius Pumpin Munch, Ignatian Achu,
Frisky Blankets.
Frisky Blankets is good. I like that.
Gertrude McGuffin.
Olard Lotionmeister.
Oh, I like Olard. Again, it sounds sort of like food, but maybe like poison.
Estophagius.
Guffin. Trollish dominatrix named Oubliette.
I used to play the
Mr. McGreasy.
Fairy of Forgotten Things, and my name was Madame Oubliette.
Jimbo Helvetica.
See, that sounds ancient, right?
Yeah.
And Galrard Erishmajor. I like Erishmajor. Oh, Lestra. What's that weird drink that Starbucks is making? The Oleato, like when you needed to put oil in your coffee. Oleato.
From the town of Partana. It's stunning. Okay, so my great-grandparents were from the town of Partana. And by the way, if you want to talk about small towns, Partana is an insanely small town and it barely exists. The fact that there's enough people out there to make enough oil to send to America to sell them in Starbucks is honestly stunning. The last time Partana saw a good day was the 1300s. I'm not even exaggerating. That was the last. Yeah, there's a really bad earthquake in the 1300s, and it knocked everything down, and they really haven't recovered since. So
they've had the time.
There's not much to build with there now except for oranges and apparently olives. The most people that we saw, we went to the village to get some paperwork, and the most people that we saw were 5 dogs running in formation down the street in a big harry. It was the most like citizen, like 101 Dalmatians moment ever.
Yeah, this is to give you an idea of how like really when I showed up with 4 people, we got out of the car. By the time we got to the center of town, the mayor was there to greet us, to see who we were. Like that's how few people.
The mayor was also the postman and the undertaker and the head of the cult, as previously described by the clever people on this channel.
It's true. It was amazing. He was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, my mom's grandparents are from here and they wanted to see what it was. Oh, all right. Like, if I'm pretty sure if we had any other answer, they would have just literally beat us and then thrown us back in our cars and pushed it off us down
You
the
would have
hill.
just disappeared.
Yeah,
But
it
somehow
was-
that little village is now turning out all of the olive oil for Starbucks' Oleato. That's how we got
Yeah.
here. It's coffee with Partanian oil in it for some reason. Crazy
Cartana,
town.
look it up.
Did
Yeah.
did you accidentally like drop a handful of change when you were there, and then they were able to invest it in?
I was in
Suddenly-
my own hotel.
Yeah,
Yes,
they're like,
suddenly they were
hey,
able to-
we can buy enough land to double our entire.
Right. We suddenly have 100-year-old olive trees because
Yeah.
I mean, I bought a couple of coffees and I think some snacks.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I
yeah,
got an espresso and a cornetto.
we like brought more money
you've
into
really reignited their
their economy. Yeah, I don't mean to be talking bad about them, but it really was.
No.
Like,
I mean, it's just when you hear about all those little tiny towns in Sicily that are like, if someone could move here, it'd be great. That's one. So
yeah, that is definitely some Radiator Springs energy right there. I have to say, it is true. Okay, this is you're never gonna. So the first I've gone to that town twice now in my life.
Partana or Radiator Springs? Where are we?
Partana. Once with my mom, the first time I went up there, it's up on a little hill, and you kind of zigzag up the little hill, and you get there, and there's the facade of a 12th century church. It's big, and you're like, whoa, what the heck? And we get out of the car, we go over to it. I'm like, oh, door's locked. I go around the side and realize all it was a facade. The entire rest of the building fell down in the 1300s because of the earthquake. And all that was standing was they built the facade back up, but they put the door on and then locked it. Like that was like there was a chain across it, like you were gonna do something.
And not just fall out into a field of grass on the other side, which is what it is now.
You know, if someone were to describe, a portal to a mythical world, I think you just did.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think you just did. I think if you were able to bust those chains off of that door and open that door, what would be on the other side is not what you just said.
Thousands of acres of olive trees are hiding on the other side.
Like, if ever there was a place.
I want to point out that joke's on you, totally a portal. There's a bunch of really great names happening over here, including Zephyrillis, which I love, Zephyrillis Zoolander. My phone hath died, so I can no longer actually be in the chat, so I wanted to point them out. Sparoom.
All right. Yes. Oh, Zephyrus Zoolander. I'm in. I'm sold. I'm writing all these down. All right. Well. Oh, Rainstalker. That's a cool name. All right. I like it. I like it.
Yes. Sure.
Sure. It was there the whole time. It wasn't me. I swear to God. But see, then there have been several earthquakes in Sicily, and they never recovered from the first one. The 1300s one, and then the town just steadily. Anyway, it's sad but true. But that's why people left it and came to Americas, because everything got flattened.
You know why? Because places need you to invest in infrastructure. Otherwise, not only the people but the towns die. Make a note of it, America. Infrastructure. Yeah. Think about it.
Sorry, are they watching? Or we're good.
Not on Twitch yet.
Right.
But all right. Well, my friends, it is that time. We have spent 2 hours chatting. You're all fantastic. Love you. Thank you, Steve-O, for coming by.
My pleasure.
Dropping all those wonderful names in there. I'm oh yes, so sweet. And lovely to see my darling Aunt Madam Ansa.
That's me. That's me.
I will be with you next week-ish.
Yeah, in a week.
In a week and a day.
Right.
So,
right, because you're gonna need extra day of fare. Yes, right. I will see you there, and I will see you, friend, down in Asheville who got some tickets. Appreciate that so much. Totally ruined those ruins.
Totally
And
ruined
don't
those
forget
ruins.
to go check out Hob the Troll's music, which I highly recommend.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Like, it actually made me go, damn it, why didn't I do that? That's so friggin' clever. Freaking clever little troll, damn it. So,
yes,
well,
you can listen to me cover Steely Dan and Rick Springfield, you guys. And
All
I'm
in
playing
one song. How
and
does
I'm
he do
playing
it?
everything.
Find out.
That's the other thing is I'm doing all of the instruments and all the singing. So that's the thing. Also, this is I'm gonna break it out here. I'm selling I'm gonna try to get some new merch before my shows. We'll be selling earplugs. Officially licensed Hob the Troll brand earplugs.
Great. Hope you enjoy
Nice.
my set. And if you don't, at least there's these. Like, that's great.
No, if I sell all of them, right, I don't have to really do the show. So you just all have them in.
They'll never know, right? That's great.
I'm
And
printing money, you guys.
if you poke out both your eyes and get an eye patch on either one, we'll just call you Eye Captain, and we won't have to look at the show either.
Oh, when I was a kid, my parents would just put a burlap sack around my head and tell me we were at the Renaissance Festival.
You are supposed to cover anything that's not period in burlap.
Yeah,
so.
it was the parking lot of the Renaissance Festival, but it was in like January. They weren't open.
At least you were warm. All of that lack of
All right.
oxygen.
On that note, what do we have going on? Tennessee Renaissance Fair. We've got several of us Nat 21ers at the Tennessee Renaissance Festival just south of Nashville. We got 2 more weekends left. Hob the Troll, Steve-O, is going to be there. We've got our Gloom Master. He'll be there as well as, of course, Handler Z is going to be there because Chase Treasure's there. Hey,
Reverend Tommy's
there as he's blowing glass, and there's a whole bunch of us. We haven't.
That's right, and with Ryan Gelotti's there too.
Yes.
I don't. Does he have one name online, or is he just whatever character they need? So
that's a good question.
Ryan, who always plays gothic horror, who's
yes.
awesome. He's of course over there doing shows too, and that is a joy to behold.
Yep.
I was there, but now I'm home. So, do you have cicadas by any chance?
So many cicadas. Yeah, we did.
I saw the beginning. Yeah,
I did a sound check at the beginning in the morning before they'd actually woken up, and I was like, "Okay, sounds great." And then after the first show, they all woke up, and it was like, even with my mic, you couldn't hear in the back row. It was just crazy. All right, well, my friends, thank you for joining us for our Nat 21 Adventures hangout session and naming session. So I hope you've had a great time. We'll see you all again. We're going to be back. We're, like I said, we got a lot of shows. Scarborough's happening this weekend. We got Shakespeare's there and some other friends of ours as well. New Jersey starts soon. Virginia's running. There's all sorts of festivals.
Oh yeah. Virginia's happening right now. Definitely go support that. That's the one closest to our house.
Absolutely. And, check your local listings for your favorite Renaissance fairs, and we'll see you all again, my friends. Have a good night.